Today is the 9th of January 2024, and this will be our 27th video on some possible questions. Okay, thank you everyone who has been following the platform and who have subscribed. Okay, if you haven't already, please subscribe, share, like and follow us. I will appreciate it a lot. And please, if the account is not yours, ask permission from the account holder. Okay. I normally write in the comment section, please follow my notes / scripts. Okay, so for instance, this is 3.152. so if you hear anything apart from 3.152 and the pen is pointing here, this is what I want to say to you. Okay, and this is what I'll be explaining around that time, so I can use your help on that. Beware of scammers. Some of you have been online longer than I am, so just beware of scammers. Okay, we are in a new year. Every time they upgrade their tricks, nice tricks, they come out with new stuff. Just beware. Okay, recap. Watch our last video for recap. Okay, our last video was yesterday because we had a break. There was holidays, and I felt like most people will be celebrating, so let me just take that time to rest. Okay, so watch the last video for recap, and there are a lot of videos with a lot of topic, so if you need help with any topic, go back from the beginning, watch the video and help yourself and do the question you want. Okay, now today our starter is ordering decimals from smallest to largest. Okay, at times it will surprise you some of the messages I get in questions I'm asked. Okay, so I thought I'll bring this. Okay, now these are decimals. 4 point. I think I have a video on this. I've done this on a video, how to order decimals, but look at it. This is 3 decimal places, 3 decimal places, 3 decimal places, 2 decimal places, and 3 decimal places. Okay, now the best you can do is to put all in 3 decimal places. So with the 0.02, that is the only one in 2 decimal places, so I'm going to add a 0 to make it a 3 decimal place. So now it's easy for me to see which one will be the smallest and largest. Here you are supposed to order from smallest to largest. Okay, so if in your answer you do it from largest to smallest, then you will lose marks. Okay, so you follow the instruction in the question. So now 3 decimal place. So if I want this to be count 3 decimal place, okay, I'm just going to add a 0 at the end. Okay, so now I have 4.153, 0.728, 3.152, 0.020, 1.505. So from smallest to largest, if I remove the decimal places, this will definitely be the smallest, because this will be like 20. Okay, so this is my smallest, so that will be the smallest, 0.020. Then the next one will be 0.728, so which is like 728. So this is 0.728. Okay, so now because they are all in 3 decimal places, I can read them out without the decimal places and then order them and put the decimal place back. This is 1.505. So the next will be 1.505. And then there is 3 here. So 3.152. So the next will be 3.152. And then I have 4.153. So I have 4.153. So if I'm looking at it without the decimal places, this is a 20, this is 728, this is 1,505, this is 3,152, and this is 4,153. Okay, 4,153. So you can remove the decimal, order it from smallest to largest, or largest to smallest, and then after that you put the decimal back and try and keep all. If it is all in 4 decimal places, just add zeros. So assuming this was in 1 decimal place, I'm going to add 2 zeros to make it 3 decimal places. Okay, so this is an example of ordering a decimal from the smallest to the largest. I have videos on this. Okay, I have videos on, I think, fractions, percentages. We've done a lot of work around this. If you're going to be writing an exam in some few months, you might have to, because this is a simple question that you can easily do for 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay, so please, if you are not sure, go and watch the video and allow this starter to help you. Now, as I said, this is also another higher paper, and it's a calculator paper. Okay, so today's question, I have about 4 or 5 ways to looking at it. So you might not have done some things, but if you are also a foundation student, you can easily do this. Okay, so the example is find the area of a right angle triangle. A right angle triangle means one of the angles is 90. Okay, below, leave your answer to 2 significant figures. Okay, and this is not drawn to scale. Okay, So you have from here to here in 24 meters, not in centimeters. Okay, you have not been given the height, but you've been given an angle. Okay, and you are supposed to find the area. So here you can think about it. Can I use Pythagoras? Now you can't use Pythagoras because you don't know the hypotenuse. Okay, but you can find the hypotenuse and to find the age, which will be a bit longer. So I have 4 methods to show you. This is why in an exam you shouldn't try to copy, because the more you stretch your neck, you are wasting time, because everything you need to answer that question, you know. And then also somebody will be using another method and you might think, oh, I'm wrong, but you might be right and they might be wrong. So if you look at their answer and decide to change what you are doing, then it will affect you, because the fact that they are writing doesn't mean that they know it or they are doing it right. Okay, so that's the advice I'll give you. Our first method, okay, before Christmas I showed you so katwa, okay, and I asked you to update your flashcard. Okay, so I said the sine of an angle will be the opposite times the hypotenuse. So if you look at this angle here, the angle is 50, the opposite length is the height, and that will be the hypotenuse. So if you know the height and the hypotenuse, or you know the height, you can use that to find the hypotenuse. Or if you know the hypotenuse, you can use that to find the height. Now, if you look at this angle triangle properly, we know the adjacent, but we don't know the height. Okay, now this is 50 and that is 90. So this is basically 40. Okay, so because I know the height and I know the adjacent, I'm going to use 12, because the tangent of 50 will give me the opposite, which is the height I want, and the adjacent. Okay, so the tan of 50 is equal to this tan of 50 is equal to the height times the adjacent. Okay, this is the adjacent to the angle. So straight away I can find the height, which is 24 tan of 50. Okay, so 24 tan of 50, if you do it correctly on the calculator, you are going to get a height of 28.60 meters. We've been working a lot in centimeters, so don't assume, write the right one. So now that you know the height and you know the base, the area of any triangle is half the base times height. Okay, so here the area is half, the base is 24, and the height, which we have used the tan the angle to find, which we had 28.60 centimeters. Okay, so if you do that, this is where we are now. If you do that, the area on the calculator, because remember it's a calculator paper, that's why you should start using your calculator now if you haven't already. the area will be 343.22 meters squared. Okay, now you are supposed to leave your answer in two significant figures. Okay, if you leave it this way, it's right, but this is to two decimal place. Two significant figures, if you write 343, that will be three significant figures. Okay, so for two significant figures, it's 340 meters squared. Remember your units. Okay, so this is the first method. That is our first method. Our second method that we can use, okay, to solve the same question. Okay, now we know that this is 50, that is 90, therefore this is 40, which we've not been given, and we've been given 24 meters. Okay, don't forget your unit. Okay, now Xcvii again. Okay, so we can use the tan of 40 equals opposite divided by adjacent to find the height. Okay, so if you are looking out to look at somebody might use tan 50 as I did in the first, and somebody might use tan 40. Both of you are going to arrive at the same answer. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to focus. Again, using our knowledge of Xcvii. Okay, so tan 40 will be equal to 24, which is the opposite, divided by the adjacent. Now, h now will be 24 divided by tan 40. If you use your calculator again, okay, you are going to get h to be 28.60 meters. Now that you've got h, okay, you can find the area, which is half base times height. Sorry. So half base is 24, the height is 28.60, which will give you 343.22 meters squared. Again, your answer should be in two significant figures. So you can't leave your answer this way. If you stop here, you won't get the full marks. Okay, so two significant figures will be 340, and it's an area, so meters squared, no centimeters squared. Okay, so remember your units again, and remember to leave it into significant figures, because the question specifically asked you to do that. That will be our second method, by the use of the 40 degrees here. Okay, our third method, okay, again using Xcvii. Okay, you can find the hypotenuse, okay, and use, this is the hypotenuse because this is a right angle triangle. Okay, and then use Pythagoras to find the h, and then you do half base times height, okay, which is longer, but I'm going to do it and show you what I did. So here I did the cos of 50. Car is a what? adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cos of 50 is 24, okay, divided by the cos of 50 is the car which is adjacent, divided by the L here, okay. So we are going to find L. So L will be 24 cos 50, which is this length here, okay. So now my L, now if you do this correctly, you get 37.37 meters. So you know this base and you know the adjacent. So I can use the cosine, okay, to find, okay, I can use sine 50 now to find the height, okay. So sine 50 will be opposite over the hypotenuse, which I just found, okay. So the height now will be sine 50 will be opposite, which is h, divided by the hypotenuse, which I've just found here. So now our height will be 37.37, which I found, okay, using cos of 50, sine 50, which is 28.60 meters. So immediately I found the height. Now I can go ahead to find my area, which is again half base times height. So half, the base is still 24. Now I found the height here, okay, which is 28.60. Again, on the calculator, you have 3.43.22 meters squared. My answer should be in two significant figures. So 340, because here 0 is not a significant figure. It's not a significant figure in this number. So take 340 meters squared. Remember your units again. That will be my third method, okay. I want to show you how you can do stuff, okay, because somebody might revise one thing. The fact that it didn't come doesn't mean you can't use another way of solving. That is the beauty of maths. Nothing goes to waste, okay. So you can always have something that you have learned to help you solve the question you've been given, okay. At least get some marks out of that, okay. The fourth one is the sine rule. Before Christmas, I have asked you to update your flashcard. So this is the length and that is the angle. So A over the angle at A should be equal to the length B divided by the angle at B, and should be equal to the length C divided by the angle at C. The other way is true. So you can do sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C, okay. But this is the standard one. So if you know your sine rule, which should be on your flashcard, okay, Now, this is a higher paper, okay, but the fact that you're a foundation student, that doesn't mean that you can't upgrade your knowledge and do a higher paper, because the higher paper means you can get top marks and you can get top grades, okay. But if it's Gcse you want, you can just do your foundation paper as long as you can get your C, okay. But I'd rather you do a higher paper and get a C than do a foundation paper and not get your C, okay. So yeah, because some of the questions you are seeing in the higher paper, half of them, most of the foundation children, if you revise properly, you can do them. So I wouldn't, I don't know what to say here, but it depends what you want, okay. So now, this is sine rule here. Okay, so I'm going to use sine rule in the next method. Okay, so using sine rule, my height h should be equal to sine 50 here, and 24 should be equal to sine 40. Okay, so now if I set the equation up, okay, from what I've just shown you, h should be equal to 24 sine 50 divided by 40. Again, you can use your calculator here, okay. It's a calculator paper, so there is no reason. So you can do 24 sine 50 times sine 50, you divided by sine 40, which is 28.60 meters, which is your height. Okay, now what is your area? Half base times height. So you found your height. So half 24 times height, 28.60, which is 343.22 meters squared. Again, you have to leave your answer in two significant figures. 3 and 4 are two significant figures. But if you write 34, you'll be wrong, because the right answer is 343. So to make it closer to the right answer, you add a 0. So you have 340 meters squared. That is two significant figures. Remember your units again. Now the last method, okay, the sine rule again, which I've just explained, okay. So the length C divided by the angle at C, which is that one here, the length A divided by the angle at A, okay. So A is opposite to the angle, which is that one here, and the length B divided by the angle at B, which is that one. It should be equal. So if you know any two, you can basically find one variable. So I've redrawn the triangle again, okay. We were given 50, the 40 we're not given. We know it's a right angle triangle, so we can use the sine rule to find the hypotenuse here, this one here, this longer length, which I've denoted L. So L, okay, divided by sine 90 because the angle opposite is sine 90. Okay, should be equal to 24 divided by the sine of 40, because if this is 50, then that will be 40. So L equals 24 sine 90 divided by sine 40. Okay, again, if you use the calculator correctly, you should get 337.34. So that is your L. Now that you know your L, you can use the sine of 50, the SOHCAHTOA that we did earlier, to find the opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, so the opposite, sine of 50, should be equal to h over the L we just found, which is here. So now h now will be 37.37 sine of 50 here. Okay, now correctly on the calculator, h becomes 28.60 meters. Okay, h, L, all these are length, they are length. Okay, now area now should be half base times height. Okay, so half, our base is 24, which we've been given. Our height is whatever we've done. So you have, I've shown you 5 methods of finding the height now. So 28.60. If you do that correctly, again, you are going to get 343.22 meters squared. But this is not two significant figure. This is 2 decimal places. So to get 2 significant figures, you should have 340. Okay, 2 significant, the first 2 is 34. Okay, you add 0, meters squared. So this is your 2 significant figures. So whichever way you do it, you should arrive at the same answer. But somebody might not have revised the sine rule, and they are good at SOHCAHTOA, so they use SOHCAHTOA to find h. Okay, you know the sine rule, so the fact that they are using the sine rule, the person next to you, you stretch your neck, you turn your neck, and they are using the sine rule. They might also arrive at the same answer. But as long as you know you are doing the right thing, stick to what you are doing, because you also come up with 340 meter squared. If you get distracted and you are like, oh, they are doing something, then because in all these instances, there's some that is going to go by your method. Okay, and if it doesn't make sense, he's not going to give you the mark. So in the end, if you write the answer, you got 343.22, and you didn't read that you have to leave it in 2 decimal places. Maybe they did it right and this was their answer. Okay, so now you copy this 343.22, and then you come out and everybody says the answer was 340. You should have yourself to blame, because you should have been focusing on your work, reading the question, and doing what you've been asked to do. Okay, so I hope I've helped you understand this. Okay, so thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next.